Hey guys, hey, what's up? It's me once again. This is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. So unfortunately, I mean, the topic of this video may seem outdated at this point, considering the people that I'm talking about in this video, as it pertains to WWE. But I still think it holds some significance, at least, as these guys are just at the tipping point of, I guess you can say, reaching that next level in WWE. So these are five superstars that I think WWE should focus on in the year 2020. And obviously, as I say, year 2020, this also counts for going to 2020 and beyond. But for right now, these are five breakout stars to me in 2020 that I think WWE should focus on. And like I said, they have been focusing on them. That's why this video comes kind of late, but I do want to talk about these guys. So in no particular numeric order, but these are guys I'm just going to call out here. One I'm going to call out here is Austin Theory. Austin Theory is a guy I've been singing his praises. I've been closely following him for the last 2 years. If you don't know who Austin Theory is, eventually, some point, you will. The guy has everything that WWE looks for in a performer. He's got the look. I think he has a personality, which can still, I think he can grow and can tweak in. But he's a hell of a wrestler as well. Hell of a wrestler. Austin Theory is really, really young. Like, the guy is like 22. He's not even 25 yet. But he's really, really good. And he was the Evolve champion. Um, he's been, a lot of his stuff has really been with Evolve. I think a little bit of Pro Wrestling Gorilla as well. But he made his, I guess you could say, his career in Evolve. And you had the Evolve pay per view that streamed on the WWE Network for the first time. He was the champion. Um, he just signed on NXT late last year, so definitely I think he's someone that's going to climb up through the ranks through the NXT branch this year as a future NXT champion. I just see it. Um, so that's a guy I think you guys should look out for sure, definitely. Next on my list here is one that I didn't think I would put on my list, but after seeing him for a while, he's really grown on me. Angel Garcia. Angel Garcia, I think has really come out of his shell and has really impressed me. And I think he's left a good impression on a lot of people. He's a cruiserweight guy. He won the cruiserweight title sometime late last year. He just lost it not too long ago, like on the early January, somewhere around there of this year. Uh, but since Andrade was, who's back now, but Andrade was gone for like a month due to a wellness policy or whatever, and so Angel Garcia ended up being managed by Zelina on Raw, and he's been one of the few bright spots I feel on Monday Night Raw. A few a bright spot that I think a lot of people kind of overlook and don't pay too close enough attention to. Angel Garcia, he's got something. He's got something. He's got a good look. He's got some charisma. He's got a personality. He speaks English, unlike Andrade, and like I said, he's he's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler. He's been having some really good stand-up matches against Humberto, which is his real life cousin. So one man's tragedy is another man's blessing. So I think due to Andrade's absence, he definitely picked up the slack and filled in the void. And looking at him and his personality and kind of how he carries himself a little bit, he kind of reminds me of a young Eddie Guerrero. I'm not gonna lie, and I know for years WWE have always been trying to find that next Latin superstar, that next Latin sensation, who could be on that level of an Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio. And even though I don't think we'll ever have another Latino star to ever be on the level of an Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio, I think WWE have still struggled in trying to find that next Hispanic superstar. They tried it with Del Rio. In my opinion, I think it flopped with Del Rio, despite all the accomplishments they've given him. Andrade, I think, has some of the package, but I don't think Andrade has all the package. Andrade has the look, and Andrade has the size and the wrestling ability. But I feel like Andrade is missing something. I think the moment you separate Andrade from his manager, I think Andrade doesn't stand out as much. And there was a point where I believe he was close to being fired and let go from the NXT branch because they didn't see much with him. It was because of Zelina that it rebooted his career in NXT, and then he became NXT champion. And then he had the feud with Gargano, which was excellent match. They had match of the year candidate with Joey Gargano. And then, the rest is history. And now you can say now that he's dated, and I believe now he might even be engaged as well to Charlotte Flair, one of the top women on in the whole company. That's also going to be, a testament to his career, I think, as well, in terms of like how far he goes. But despite all that, I think Angel Garcia is a sleeper. He's a guy I think that a lot of fans, WWE may at one point may look him over, but now that he's kind of put him in the spot, they pay attention, and he's finding all he just has a charisma about him that really reminds me of a young Eddie Guerrero. I think they've got something with him. I think if he kind of picks up a few pounds, maybe pack on an extra 10 to 15 pounds, get a little bit heavier. I'm not saying do steroids, but like I said, he's already lean and fit, but like just get a little bit more bulk, a little bit more mass on him, a little bit more meat, a good 10 to 15 pounds. They could have a potential, good upper mid card potential main event guy on their hands. I definitely think Angel Garcia is something to watch for in the next year or so. Um, Next, I have on my list here Matt Riddle. I know some people probably might say, wait, Matt Riddle. My opinion, I think Matt Riddle has been kind of so-so on the main roster. He's had some good feuds. I don't think Matt Riddle's been buried. I don't think Matt Riddle has been overlooked or has not get enough TV time or whatever the case may be. He is a focal point for NXT, but I don't feel like he's really reached that next level. Matt Riddle just kind of seems to be, a hamster spinning in a wheel, going everywhere but yet really nowhere at the same time. And yes, he's had good matches. Yes, he had the whole, uh, what was it Broserweight tag team with uh, not Tyler Bate, the Bruiserweight guy. I can't think of his name right now, but the Bruiserweight guy. They were in the Dusty Classics, had an excellent tag team match, and they are the current NXT tag team champions. But I don't know. I feel like Matt Riddle can. I feel like Matt Riddle could be doing more than what he's already doing. But despite that, Matt Riddle's another guy. I feel that they need to. I don't want to say book better because, like I said, he's not in a bad spot. But he's somebody I think they should focus on. He's definitely somebody I think they should focus on. I think the only thing that's going to hurt Matt Riddle is kind of in the same veins of Seth Rollins. His things on Twitter, things that he says. I know he hates Goldberg. I know a lot of people also hate Goldberg, so I probably agree with him on that, or agree with him. But I think he kind of needs to watch it. He just needs to be a little bit careful. People haven't turned on him or hate him due to what he says on Twitter, like they have with Rollins. But I could see that I could see the tides turning, or at least people getting tired of Riddle spewing the same shit on Twitter. It's just kind of like, okay, dude, like, okay, it was funny the first few times, but now it's kind of like, eh. I think he needs to watch that. But other than that, he's got all the tools in the world to succeed in WWE. Next is, I mean, these no introductions. I've been a big fan of this guy for years. It's nice to see him coming around with getting over with the fans, the WWE fans, and to see him finally getting, he's getting the push, and that is Keith Lee. Keith Lee is the guy. I'll paraphrase. Keith Lee can be one of the guys. And when I say one of the guys, I don't mean, the main guy that's towing the company line for WWE, because I just don't think that's going to happen. But Keith Lee is definitely could be a major player for WWE. You know how mostly, in wrestling you should have, 4, 5, 6 top guys that's in that main event scene that the world title kind of revolves itself around with. Keith Lee is one of those guys. Keith Lee is one of those top 4, top 5 main event guys who floats around in the main event scene with that world title in play. The guy is good. He is just good. He is one of the best big men in wrestling today. And you can argue and say the best big man in wrestling today. He's like 300 plus pounds, moves like a goddamn cruiserweight. Um, they've done excellent, I think, with Brody Lee, and he has a personality. He has a genuine, likable personality. He's a good guy. He can wrestle with the best of them. Doesn't matter if you're small, medium, large size. Had an excellent showcase at the Royal Rumble. I even said in my Royal Rumble review, I think he was showcased much better in that than in the Survivor Series match. But even still, he was in the Survivor Series, had a good showcase there, and now he's the current, not U.S., North American champion in NXT. So I say the sky's the limit for that guy. That's one guy. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him as being NXT champion, but if he doesn't, because I think um, uh, the Dream, I think the Dream is probably next in line to get the NXT title. If Keith Lee never wins the NXT title, I think that's okay, because I think Keith Lee could succeed on the main roster. Um, Bar none. He can succeed on the main roster. He's one of those few NXT guys I think that can cross over onto the main roster and be successful. So he's another guy I think WWE should definitely focus on in 2020. Last but not least, the last guy I think WWE should definitely focus on 2020. They are putting focus on him. He is your 2020 Royal Rumble winner, Drew McIntyre. McIntyre's another guy like Lee. I've been saying for the last few years, do something with this guy, push this guy, push this guy, and they finally did it. At the Royal Rumble, McIntyre won. He got the biggest shocker of the night by eliminating Brock Lesnar. He won the Rumble. He picked Brock Lesnar just last night. He had it was a great segment between him and Lesnar. Him and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman and Brock called McIntyre overrated. Called him out. He and Lesnar have like a little standoff moment for a few seconds. Lesnar fakes as if he's going to leave the ring, and then Lesnar charges at McIntyre. But the moment he charges at McIntyre, McIntyre just hits him with the Claymore. It was awesome. It was awesome. And then as Brock walks back up the ramp, McIntyre hits him a second time unexpectedly, and then ends up hitting him a third time. My opinion, I thought they should have just done it the one time when it was in the ring. I think the one time that would have been enough. Him kicking him 3 times, I think was kind of over excessive, a little bit too much, and kind of makes you wonder at that point. Hold on, if you're having Drew doing all these Claymore kicks, 3 times in a row and stuff, kind of makes you think in the back of your mind they might not pull the trigger come WrestleMania. McIntyre might actually lose against Brock Lesnar if he's getting this much offense so early on. Um, but I do like the fact that McIntyre is you can pretty much say for all intents and purposes, ever since not John Cena, ever since Brock Lesnar came back, uh, the only person besides Goldberg who's brought it to Brock Lesnar is not afraid of Brock Lesnar, and it's kind of had Brock Lesnar's number. Um, Maybe Braun Strowman too is probably another one, but not too many people has gotten the best of Brock Lesnar, and I definitely say McIntyre definitely stands out as one of the very very select few, uh, who's stood toe to toe with Brock since his return. Besides like Goldberg and maybe like a Braun and maybe even to a lesser degree Roman Reigns. Um, but yeah, McIntyre definitely, I think, should win WrestleMania. Win at WrestleMania this year, win the world title, and should be a focal point for Monday Night Raw. Um, I think keep him the way he is. A babyface that's kind of silent, doesn't say too much. Um, I just hope they just don't in his babyface run and kind of making him the flagship of Raw. Um, I just hope that WWE doesn't make him corny or do things that will have you to kind of scratch your head and be like, this ain't the Drew that we had, before leading up to the pay per view, or this wasn't the Drew of old. You kind of tweaked them a little bit too much. I hope we don't do that because if you really look at it right now, since Rollins turned heel, there really ain't a big baby face on Raw. Ricochet, sure as hell ain't it. Aleister Black, not it. Um, Kevin Owens is one of the baby faces up, but he's really not positioned to be it. Right now, Drew McIntyre is positioned to be that guy on Raw, to be the face of Raw. And I'm excited to see his growth and see his journey and see him climb that mountain. Hopefully, they will do the right thing and capitalize on his Rumble victory and have him win at Mania. But like I say, he's another guy I think that they should focus on this year in 2020. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think about this. Do you agree or disagree with my list? I want to hear your thoughts in the box below. Do yourself a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. Comment. Peace.